Reports have been released on if Lonzo Ball will ever be back to play basketball again, and we're also going to talk about what the Bulls turned down for Andre Drummond at the trade deadline. I'm your host, Joey Mercer. This is another episode of Bulls Digest, and before we get into it there today, I just want to say that about 80% of you that watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel, so make sure if you aren't subscribed to go down below, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and every single time we upload, you'll be able to stay up to date with our takes on the Chicago Bulls and everything you need to know about them. So without further ado, let's get into the first topic at hand there today, and that is, will Lonzo ever play again? Well, this is a different topic that we're bringing up first today. Not necessarily starting off on a positive note. Lonzo Ball has been out for quite a significant amount of time now, and in that time, the Bulls have not been so good. They were good in the brief stint that he was there, but it's been over 2 years now, and not a whole lot's been happening. We could see at the start of this article, it says Chicago Bulls guard Lonzo Ball has not played a game in the NBA for more than 2 years since injuring his knee in a game against the Golden State Warriors. And with the former UCLA star being deemed out for the entire 2023-24 season, by the time next season rolls around, it will have been 3 years since he has last put on an NBA uniform. Despite this lengthy absence, there are still high hopes for Ball's future in the league. However, there are also concerns about his ability to return to playing at a high level after such a long time off. One person who is skeptical about Ball's potential comeback is Sam Smith, a well-respected insider for the Chicago Bulls. And I believe that we have brought up some articles that Sam Smith, or just tweets or quotes from him in the past on this channel, and definitely a reputable source by all means, and we're going to get into those right away. He is not optimistic about Ball's prospects. Since injuring his knee in January 2022, the dynamic two-way guard has undergone 3 knee surgeries, the last being a cartilage transplant procedure last year. Although he was slated to begin running and jumping last month, he has yet to do so, raising doubts about his readiness for next season. I'm not optimistic about Ball, though we all hope he can play again. But if he can come through yet another surgery, it's actually unfair to expect him to return to a high level of play after basically not playing for 3 years. And the way it sounded, almost learning to walk again, Smith wrote in his latest mailbag session. And that is absolutely not what we want to hear when it comes to Lonzo Ball. That right there doesn't just say that is he going to be really good or at the level of play that he was at when he comes back. That right there says, is he really even going to come back at all? And that's not what we like to hear as Chicago Bulls fans, because once again, in the short stint that Lonzo Ball was here, it's been the best the Bulls have been since Derrick Rose, and that's for sure. Trajectory like Grant Hill's. Smith likened Ball's trajectory to that of Hall of Famer Grant Hill. Once considered the second coming of Michael Jordan, Hill's career was derailed by several ankle injuries that limited him to playing only 47 games from 2000 to 2003. He then missed the entire 2003 to 2004 season before returning in the next one, becoming an all-star with averages of 20 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1.4 steals per game. Now, I want to say right away, Lonzo Ball is not Grant Hill. That is a completely different situation. Grant Hill was a near All-NBA player, if not All-NBA. I can't remember if he exactly made the team back in the mid to late 90s, and that is not necessarily what Lonzo Ball was. He was a very impactful player, but he was nowhere near the player of Grant Hill. I understand the injury worries with that there, but Grant Hill, when he came back, was not the player that he was before he got injured by any means. He definitely had a long career, but that isn't exactly a sign of high hopes for Lonzo Ball. If that's what we're looking to do with him, he would then become what Grant Hill was, which was a solid starter and then a role player. Now, Grant Hill, the comparison to Michael Jordan as well, he really was more like Scottie Pippen than Michael Jordan, but it is what it is. That's what they had said there, and I'll stick with my Scottie Pippen comparison, and I don't like to compare Grant Hill to Lonzo Ball. I understand the injuries seem similar, but really just not the case in my opinion. I do believe he will play in the NBA again, but it seems a lot to expect it to be next season, to the point you look at him like in 2020. Grant Hill took several years and a team change to finally get back to helping a team after missing several seasons, and a different team at that, Smith added. And that's important to note as well. When he came back, he was with the Magic. when another injury had happened. I mean, he left the Magic. He played on teams like the Suns, the Clippers. Grant Hill definitely made his way around in the league and had to find a way to become productive without being the guy on the team after his injuries. And that is definitely a more difficult thing to do in this league. Next, we've got to talk about something else, more than just Lonzo Ball, because Lonzo Ball, that's not exactly what I wanted to start out with there today, but will he come back? What do I think? Well, hopefully so. I really do hope he comes back. It's going to take him some time to get back into the system. Hope is still alive here, but I'm not going to guarantee or put my opinion on anything and solidify that, really lock it in, because it's really unsure. There's not enough information out there for me to really say that he's going to come back and ever play at all. But there is much optimism on my side that he will, for sure. Now, moving on to the next topic, Drummond to re-sign. Now, all signs point to that because, once again, the Bulls made no moves at the NBA trade deadline. A few teams were calling for Drummond, and I've heard that there were some offers that the Bulls probably should have taken if they don't plan on re-signing him. So, they should re-sign the offseason, right? Well, we're going to look into that right now. The report indicates the Chicago Bulls pulled out of a deal that would have sent Andre Drummond to the Sixers. Chicago's decision makers had a change of heart, and this is by Nick Ragu. And it's no shock to me they had a change of heart. I mean, we haven't wanted any trades to go through in the past couple of seasons, so no shockers here that a deal didn't get done. Chicago Bulls' Andre Drummond is playing in the final year of the 2-year contract he signed in 2022. So it would have made perfect sense for the team to move on from him. According to Hoops Hype's Michael Scotto, the Bulls had a deal lined up that would have sent the big man to Philadelphia 76ers in exchange for several draft picks. However, the Bulls backed off the deal at the last minute. And the deal with the 76ers was ideal. The potential trade with the Sixers was ideal as the latter needed a center to replace the injured Joel Embiid, who remains without a timeline after ongoing surgery to repair a tear in the lateral meniscus in his left knee. And that definitely is a serious injury for Embiid, so they need whatever they can. Paul Reed is a really solid backup, but he is showing that he can't really play starters minutes consistently. He's had a few really good games, but I wouldn't really expect him over a 7-game series to help swing things at all. I would definitely try to go for a different look if they could. Maybe that's why they tried to get Drummond in there. Dealing Drummond would have also ensured the Bulls wouldn't be left high and dry this offseason if the backup big man opted to sign with another team. However, the trade between Chicago and Philadelphia never materialized, as the Bulls' decision makers apparently had a change of heart. The 76ers believed they had a trade done to acquire Bulls center Andre Drummond before Chicago pulled out of talks hours before the deadline. Now, I am just not shocked that the Bulls did pull out from this trade for sure. This isn't the first time that the front office has had a change in heart when it comes to trades. I believe we heard last summer a Zach Lavine trade that was going to go down, and then last minute they said, no, we don't want to pull the trigger on that. We'll keep Zach Lavine for now, see what else we can get for him, or maybe he'll stay with this team. Next thing we saw on this, though, was the Bulls wanted 3 second-round picks for Drummond, league sources said. For context, the Knicks acquired 3 second-round picks in the 3-team Royce O'Neal trade. And that's fair value in my opinion. I think that Royce O'Neal and Andre Drummond, the value is pretty similar for what they could do there for sure. If not Drummond a little bit higher than Royce O'Neal. I know it's easy to plug and play Royce O'Neal in your lineup a little bit more than Drummond, but Drummond's probably a little bit better of a player than Royce O'Neal. So definitely I can understand the 3 seconds if that was the value on it. Maybe they agreed to something that they weren't too happy with. Maybe it was 2 seconds and a player and they weren't sure on the player. We don't know really what went down, but was this the right decision for the Bulls? I'm not too sure. You guys let me know everything that you have to say about this down below in the comments section. Let me know your thoughts. Like to hear all of them. Like the video if you did like the video, of course. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next one. Sign out.